We're going to give us another minute before we start.
You can do a ceremony after that.
Yeah. So what we'll do tonight is we'll do the regular service with meditation. And then instead of a Dharma talk, we'll do the Ti Sarana ceremony. I talk a lot in the Ti Sarana ceremony, so it's not like you're missing anything. Do you want to do the bells? Okay, let's go ahead and begin with the verse of the Kesa. Bells. Neil. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. You need one of each of those. Got to have atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, none of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Please stand for the incense offering. Three bows. The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present with us. It fills our sacred space, guards our minds from wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense unites us with virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. We offer it on behalf of all beings. Be seated. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for refuge. Being one with the Buddha, I resolve to each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for refuge. Being one with the Dharma, the gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for refuge. Being one with the Sangha, in the spirit of universal fellowship, and as a member of the Sangha, I pledge to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime body. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. Sound okay for you guys? Let me know if it's not. We changed computers, so I want to make sure everything still works. So we're going to do a short guided meditation tonight. So you want to ring the bell, please? Actually, Thomas, would you turn the light on? Yeah, the slider. There you go. Perfect. As the sound of the bell fades, just take a few deep breaths. Focus on letting your belly be soft, relaxed, so that your diaphragm can do its job, lungs fill and empty completely. And then just let your breath settle into a comfortable rhythm. You don't need to breathe any special way, but be aware as you breathe in. Be aware as you breathe out. And as you exhale, let this thought just ride silently on your breath, as if it's emerging from your heart as you breathe out. May I be happy. And we're talking about true happiness here, the kind of happiness that comes from within and that's found in the present moment. It's not something we have to get later on down the road. Right here, right now, one breath at a time, may I be happy. May I be free from animosity. And if any anger arises, just let that go. Any annoyance, ill will of any kind toward anyone, just give yourself freedom from that for these few minutes that we're going to spend meditating together. And may I be free from stress and affliction. All kinds of things come into our minds while we're meditating. Sounds, thoughts, sensations. Some pleasant, some unpleasant, some neutral. There's no need to push anything away, to hold on to anything or judge it, create stories around it. Just whatever arises, let it pass by, or just let it be a part of what's happening. If we don't engage in things to create stress, then we don't turn them into afflictions. We don't turn a worried thought into anxiety. And so on. And then take this happiness and this peace of mind and extend it to others. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. And we could take a moment. May all beings be happy and well. And then let go of that thought and just find a place where it's comfortable to feel the breath. Tip of your nose, maybe. Movement of air in and out your nostrils, across your upper lip. Or the rise and fall of your belly. And just rest your attention there, being aware of each breath, in and out. And then focusing especially on the out breath. If your mind is very restless, you can count your breaths. As you exhale, just count one, softly, silently to yourself, but for the whole duration of the breath. And then up to 10, and then start over. And then follow each breath continuously. Notice with the in breath, there's a beginning, it continues. There's a feeling of fullness. The out breath begins, it continues. There's a feeling of emptiness. Observe the full body of each breath. Try to be with each breath. If you miss a breath, you can't go back and breathe it again. Just like you can't relive a moment of your life. Each one is unique. And now think of your breaths as beads on a string. Each is separate, but they're continuously strung together. The bell will ring twice to end the meditation. When it rings the first time, take a deep breath. Kind of be aware of where you are and your surroundings. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart in Gasho. And when it rings the second time, just bow slightly and take this moment just to acknowledge that you've spent this time developing your spiritual life. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now and reciting the sutras, hearing the Dharma, and training the mind. Great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to the 16 guardians and all protectors of the Dharma, and their relations throughout space and time, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May penetrating light dispel the darkness of ignorance. Let all karma be resolved, and the mind flower bloom in eternal spring. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. May their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for the health and well-being of those suffering diseases of body, mind, or spirit, all those working toward the healing of those afflictions. We especially pray for those who are sick and could not be with us tonight. And a moment of silence for any others that you want to hold in your heart. We pray for those suffering from violence and those who grieve for them, for those living in oppression, for all who are in prison who should be free, for all refugees from violence, hunger, and catastrophe, man-made or natural. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Mahaprajna, Paramita. We'll do the Sabesata at the end of the refuge ceremony. Y'all give us a minute while we set some stuff up. So turn to face the Buddha, put it right. That's good. Actually, you're not going to do anything. Let's go ahead and actually move back a little bit. Just stand up. I'll pull the chair back right now. So you're not sitting at the top. So I'm going to have you make an incense offering. This is very short, so don't burn your fingers. Wait, I'll tell you when. Just light it and then put it in this holder. Just kind of set it in here. Okay. And everybody has the Ti Sarana ceremony papers. Yes. With deepest reverence and compassion, we are here together in the spirit of Gautama, the Buddha, the Enlightened One. We are one with the Buddha. We are one with the teaching. We are one in the spirit of universal fellowship. We resolve to be earnest followers of the Buddha and to dedicate our lives to the way he has pointed out. And then may we, like him, attain the noblest and most peaceful state of nirvana. So we're here to do a Ti Sarana ceremony, a refuge ceremony for Jess. And so traditionally, when we begin something like this, we make an offering of some kind, often of incense or water or something like that. So we do this not because incense smells nice, although it does, or because Buddhas need water, they don't. We make an offering like this really as an expression of our giving nature. So I'm going to have Jess start this by doing an incense offering. So just light the incense, put it in the holder, and then bow one time. And bow. Thank you. Okay. So, you need the razor. We'll be right back. I've got to bring it out here. Careful with that sharp.
Just sorry, I got the short hair, guys. We got ears.
So when we do this, we begin with a ceremonial head shaving. Did I tell you about that? So the emphasis is on the ceremonial. No actual hair is going to leave her scalp. But let me see that for just a second. So this is a real honest to goodness straight razor. It's been in my family for over 100 years. When I went for refuge in Corsica with Reverend Kabose, they used a ceremonial razor from Japan that had been in their family since the 1930s, I think, something like that. So it's been around for a while. So you can't see it because I can't position the camera to get everything in the right place. You all see it. He's basically ceremonially shaving her head. This is a symbol of renunciation. When the Buddha started the holy life, the first thing he did was took out his knife and cut off the top knot on his head, which is a symbol of wealth and royalty. And so at this time, what I would like you to do, Jess, is to inwardly make a commitment to enter the spiritual life. And we're going to chant together the Namo Tassa while Neil stands behind you with the razor. So you don't need to do anything. He's just ceremonially shaving your head as we chant the Namo Tassa. All right? So we'll just say this together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Thank you. By the way, that's not really sharp. It probably hasn't been stropped in 75 years. So I don't think there's any danger of anybody being cut. So we're going to say the refuge ceremony itself, these refuge words. So I'm going to say one, I'm going to say a line, and you repeat it after me. And you guys can say it with her. You know all of these, I think. So I'll say it, you repeat it. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Buddhang Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammang Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Sanghang Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Thank you. So I like to include these verses that come from the Buddha during refuge ceremonies because it's really where he kind of established what this meant. He said, they go to many a refuge, these people threatened with danger, to mountains, forests, parks, trees, and shrines. That's not the secure refuge. That's not the highest refuge. That's not the refuge to which, having gone, you gain release from all suffering and stress. But when, having gone for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, you see with right discernment the Four Noble Truths, stress, cause of stress, transcending of stress, and the Noble Eightfold Path, the way to the stilling of stress. That's the secure refuge. That's the highest refuge. That's the refuge to which, having gone, you gain release from all suffering. So we all go for refuge all the time. We look for ways to avoid dukkha, stress, our dissatisfaction, our boredom, and our cravings, but we're usually looking in the wrong places. Some people seek refuge in drugs or alcohol or in food, in relationships and jobs, all those things. And then what happens? We feel good for a little while, and then we don't. These things wear thin. They leave. We run out of them, and then we're looking for refuge again. And the Buddha knew what that was like. Here's what he said about beginning the noble search. He said, being subject to birth, I sought what was likewise subject to birth. Being subject to aging, illness, death, and sorrow, I sought what was likewise subject to aging, illness, death, and sorrow. And finally, the thought occurred to me, what if I were to seek that which is not subject to birth, the deathless, the sorrowless? So now you've gone for refuge, this time in the deathless, in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So you took refuge in the Buddha, not so much the historical Gautama Buddha, but in the example set by his awakening. This means trusting that he did awaken to the truth by developing qualities that we can develop if we conduct our lives the way he did. And you've taken refuge in the Dharma, which means the path for developing those qualities, those factors. But it also means practicing those teachings until you realize the truth for yourself. And finally, you took refuge in the Sangha. Sangha refers to the line of teachers that have carried the Dharma down 25 or 26 centuries from the Buddha's time to today. It also means those who have practiced until they've gained some level of realization. And Sangha is this community right here, where we find refuge among others who are also trying to transcend suffering and stress. And since we practice not for our own benefit, but for the benefit of all beings, the Sangha ultimately includes all creations. So there's a long-standing tradition of taking a Dharma name when you commit to the Buddhist path. Your Dharma name, in a sense, we hope is your true name. Hopefully your name will be a teaching for you and a source of inspiration. I do refuge ceremonies under the auspices of the Bright Dawn Center for Oneness Buddhism. And Bright Dawn follows the Japanese Mahayana tradition of combining Chinese written characters. And we always make the second character the word yo, which means sun. And the sun symbolizes the light of awakening, the teachings, the truth, the Dharma. So I'll tell you what your Dharma name means and the way I thought it could be used as a teaching. But I hope that as you continue along your spiritual path, that you'll continue to discover new meanings for your Dharma name for yourself. So he actually gave me the idea for something else that the community is going to be trying, which I'll tell you about next week. When somebody asks to go for refuge, I ask them to write up a spiritual autobiography. And that gives me ideas about a good Dharma name for them. So when I was reading yours, you talked about some of the things that you experienced in life. And it seemed that your response to adversity was often to turn towards service to others. And for some reason, an image of the sunflower came to mind for me, and the way they always turn their faces toward the sun. And your comments about the decision to follow the Buddhist path earnestly reminded me of something Koyo Kabose wrote about late last winter. And by the way, she asked to go for refuge a long time ago. We were meeting in person, and then we weren't meeting in person again, and for several months. So this has been a bit of a wait. But back in January, Reverend Kabose sent out a newsletter, and it was a couple of months before he passed away. And he was talking about being in his garden and seeing the plum trees there, which blossomed beautifully. But of course, this was late winter, early spring, and they hadn't blossomed yet. But he could see the buds forming and kind of taking shape. And he said, I realized they were getting ready. So he spent this time getting ready, right? So your Dharma name is Hanayo, Blossom Sun. So Hanayo, this is the moment where you take some vows. So we take vows really as these are not commandments, they're training rules. These are things where we want to wake up. And so we're going to set our minds on practicing this way. So do you undertake the training precept to not kill other beings? Do you undertake the training precept to not take what is not freely given? Do you undertake the training precept not to abuse or exploit others? Do you undertake the training precept to use speech carefully? Do you undertake the training precept not to abuse intoxicants to cloud your mind? So we didn't talk about this. Do you want to also take the Bodhisattva vows and thus take refuge not just for yourself in life, but until all beings are liberated from suffering, however many lifetimes that takes? Okay. So we'll say the Bodhisattva vows all together, right? Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it 2 more times. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. We whisper the last time because this time is really for us and our heart. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. So I'm going to give you your certificate of Ti Sarana, which has your Dharma name on it. So please stand. And we'll bow to each other. And congratulations. And you can sit back there if you want to, or up here, whichever you want. So this was the first one of these we've done in person in a very long time. So thank you for doing this with us. We'll do the, when we do something meritorious, do something good, you know, we earn blessings from that. We don't know what that is really, but we know that the law of karma is if you do a good thing, you get a good result. So we don't want to hoard good results for ourselves. We want to share those. We do this practice for the benefit of everyone, not just for us. So we always end something like this by dedicating merit. And you should have the dedication of merit that says Sabai Sata. We will do that. Ring the bell. Sabe Sata Sadahantu Avera Sukha Jivino Katam Punya Phalam Mayham Sabe Bhagi Bhavantu Te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings springing from the good we have done. So thank you all. We just did the Bodhisattva vow, so we won't do them again to close. We've already done. Any questions or comments about the ceremony or anything else? So a couple of the online people congratulate you. All right. Well, thank you all. And thanks for coming. Have a good night. I have books for you in my car. Thank you all. I'll see you next week.
I like your Dharma name, dude.